When you increase taxes on the wealthiest and corporations who pay nothing, they say you're raising taxes on everybody. Bull.
Senator Schumer has had enough with this Republican talking point, and given that they've been using the same baseless attack for decades, his exasperation is understandable. It's all tied to the commonly held belief in the Republican Party that the only way to make middle and lower class Americans better off is to help out the wealthiest Americans. This has its roots in the Reagan administration's Reaganomics that branded this idea trickle-down economics. Now, first of all, no one wants to be trickled down on. And second of all, it's kind of crazy that people actually fall for this stuff. One side is saying, I want to cut middle income taxes and put more money in your pocket. And the other is saying, I'm going to cut rich people's taxes and their money will magically end up in your pocket. Just trust me. So after decades of evidence that trickle-down economics is about as smart as trickling into the wind, Democrats feel that they're on pretty solid footing with the more direct approach of keeping taxes low for the middle class and instead asking wealthy Americans and corporations to pay their fair share. And by all means, they do not. Big corporations like Nike and Amazon and many others pay literally nothing in taxes despite raking in hundreds of billions. And Warren Buffett famously pays a lower tax rate than his house cleaner. This is all due to loopholes that the Inflation Reduction Act at least starts to close. So contrary to the lies about it raising taxes on the middle class, here's what the bill actually does.
Put simply, this legislation will save lives, create jobs, reduce costs, reduce inflation. Now, over the past few days, we've heard Republicans go back to their time-worn attacks that they use virtually against any Democratic policy. There are sounding alarms that this bill will raise taxes on American families. But it does not. Here's the plain truth. The bill will not raise any taxes on families making under $400,000 a year. Instead, it will close loopholes long exploited by the largest corporations that essentially give them lower tax rates than many nurses, firefighters, teachers. You won't hear Republicans admit that. Why? Because they know that their tax policies are utterly toxic in the minds of American people. Our bill, meanwhile, will close tax loopholes in our tax code and not touch anyone making under $400,000 a year.
And by the way, you don't have to take my word or Senator Schumer's on this. 5 former Treasury secretaries, including Henry Paulson, who served under George W. Bush, signed on to a letter saying this bill won't raise taxes on the middle class. It's time for the wealthy to step up and pay their fair share.